Hello and welcome, I'm Joshua Barnes. In Saudi Arabia, US Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov are set to engage in high-stakes talks, marking potentially the most significant dialogue since Russia's invasion of Ukraine nearly 3 years ago. Meanwhile, European leaders have convened an emergency summit in Paris, prompted by concerns over being sidelined in these critical negotiations. Amidst this diplomatic whirlwind, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has arrived in Saudi Arabia. Although Zelensky's intentions are still unclear, these simultaneous meetings underscore a complex geopolitical landscape where alliances are tested and the sovereignty of nations hangs in the balance. Tonight, we take a look into the ramifications of these developments while analysing the potential outcomes and future of international relations in this ever-evolving situation. Joining us to discuss this topic, we also have Dr. Sergei Dvorianov, who is a Director of Communication at the BCMF BRICS Culture Media Forum in Moscow. Dr. Dvorianov, I'd like to come to you and look at it from a Russian perspective. Does this meeting that's taking place and a potential meeting between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin show that the two countries are forming some form of alliance, and maybe there's a preference in these negotiations regarding America and their potential alliance with Russia?
Good evening, thank you for your question. Yes, we're coming right now to a new political era. And you know that Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin, both of them, they are heroes of modern history. Because the definition of heroes in someone who can transform and turn his enemies to friends, that he is a hero. We can see that Donald Trump transforms this enmity which Western alliance put on Russian civilization, because our country is not only country, we are civilization. We are Christian, very ancient civilization. We are big, not only land and territory. We have a very huge historical mission. And Donald Trump right now, he transforms this enmity to the friendship relationships. That's why, of course, it's a new reality. And very soon you will see the big queue of all Western politicians to Vladimir Putin. They will ask and humbly request him to give them some opportunity and possibility to discuss all questions on economical and political level and others. Of course, it can be and should be some alliance, because it was predicted by famous American prophet Edgar Cayce. I thought about this on your panel discussion a lot of times. I want to repeat it again. It's like an era of East-West dialogue that we can mark this new political era, and it will start soon in Saudi Arabia. Especially, I'm very glad and I'm happy they choose some spiritual land, because we should not forget that Mecca and Medina also exist in this particular country, Saudi Arabia. And I will pray for peace, and everybody should pray for peace. That is our duty right now.
I want to look at the comments that have come specifically from Pete Hegseth over recent days, saying quite categorically that Ukraine is not going to be in a position to receive back the territory that's currently being controlled by Russia. So, Dr. Dvorianov, what do you think that Russia may do in terms of concessions to make an agreement with Ukraine and bring an end to this war if it isn't giving the land back that it has seized?
Regarding concession, you can see, of course, it's a lot of different interests, government and country interests. Everybody wants, obviously, have their own mission to negotiate the peace on the best condition for the country. Obviously, we can expect, especially because we understand, for example, the mindset of Donald Trump. He is a very mature businessman, and he is doing his action in political activity, also like a negotiator and businessman. And regarding that possibilities of Ukraine, we can see first the main question, when Ukraine will start officially to make a new election. Because May, it was the last month when Mr. Zelensky was officially representative of Ukraine on the like a real president. Right now, Ukraine should start to announce when they are happy to make a new election, and the new leader, responsible leader of Ukraine, he will take care about the future of this country.
Dr. Dvorianov, to throw that back to you, we've heard Zelensky in recent days talk about an army of Europe that would be needed for any peace deal to stand. What's the Russian perspective of European troops being stationed potentially in Ukraine, and what that means for the war moving forward?
First of all, I cannot see in Europe right now any resources to be decision makers on this matter. Actually, we have only two decision makers, it's Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin. We can see that Europe right now out of the process. Even inside France and Germany, we have a very strong opposition, and Mr. Macron and Mr. Scholz and many other European countries. I think very soon we can expect a change of the elites and a change of the policy of inside European Union. European Union right now already has some inside problems, and in future it will be all this crisis will be increase and increase. That's why I'm not worried what we should do about the position of European politicians. Right now it's not so important. Important to start with dialogue of East and West and create, like you already mentioned in your speech, new alliance between America and Russia, which was predicted by Edgar Cayce. And then we'll change all situation in the minds of European politicians.
Dr. Dvorianov, looking at that ceasefire and potential peace deal, do you think it's something that Vladimir Putin wants to rush into, given the US sort of removing their support for Ukraine, though some is still moving forward? But it seems that Ukraine are becoming more isolated and more vulnerable. Is Putin thinking now might not be the right time to sign a peace deal, given the gains that they're making on the battlefield?
First of all, we can see that on Saudi Arabia, Russia will be represented by two very mature and experienced diplomats like Yuri Ushakov and Sergei Lavrov. It's only beginning, as first step. Then we can expect a personal meeting or Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump. We just only start the process. Of course, we're not in a hurry. Our country is doing well to complete our historical mission. And of course, we should sit, we should start, we should negotiate. But basically, I already told a lot of times, main question right now, with whom we can make this agreement? Who will put signature from Ukrainian side? Because Mr. Zelensky is not more president anymore. It will be first and main question. Who will be responsible for this agreement? Because a lot of times our press secretary Dmitry Peskov and our leaders, they announce that we don't need some short and temporary agreement. We need peace for long time. We need some historical document. In this case, it should be some legacy from Ukrainian side. Who will put the signature is the main question right now.
Dr. Dvorianov, thank you very much. The talks that are coming up over the next couple of days will of course be pivotal in any potential peace and ceasefire deal between Russia and Ukraine, and we'll bring you all of the latest and the rest from across the world very soon.
According to Russian religious philosopher Dr. Sergei Dvorianov, at the present moment in history, after the new United States President Donald Trump takes office, there is a paradigm shift in politics and ideology, as well as a change of elites in European countries. This period marks a right turn and a shift in emphasis towards traditional values and humanistic ideals. This is a harbinger of the entry of human civilization into a new golden age, which will be marked by the flourishing of spiritual culture, where such criteria as self-knowledge, service, mercy and love will be the main factor of progress.